So here we are starting a new edition of Galactica Internacional, and today with Maksym Poratui, or only Max, because, well, he's a good friend of mine from Ukraine, and, well, he accepted to share a little bit about his country and, well, the situation today after almost 2 years of war, almost. Hello, Max. How are you doing?
Hey, everything is good.
Yeah, are you okay? Yeah. Well, to start, what is the almost 2 years, not yet, but almost like going to 2 years, right? What is the conclusion that we can infer today, Max? Why so much time? Why it doesn't have a conclusion? It seems to be like in a place that there is. I mean, it doesn't seem to have any movement. Sometimes it looks like, well, it's like stuck. It seems like the situation is a little bit stuck in Ukraine. Why? Why is it so? What's your analysis about it?
Well, first of all, Ukraine just needs more weapons, and that is it. Because it's like many countries are supporting Ukraine, but still, United States and Europe, they're given the amount of weapon, so Ukraine can't lose. But they're like, it's still not enough for Ukraine to win. We need more far-range missiles, and just like warplanes, you know what I mean, right? Because we asked for them like a really long time before, and we still have no warplanes, like jets.
Do you think it's a question of amount of weapons? Because
Yeah,
in fact,
definitely.
Ukraine has the support of the not only well, it has political support because it has the political support of half the world, more than half the world, at least Western countries, Europe, United States. It has military support from NATO. So why? Well, NATO is not like participating directly, but it's like prepared and well, and of course, weapons and all the supplies. Is there something wrong, or maybe some analyst says that in the end of the story, they don't want to end this war because there are interests from both sides, to keep it going because of this geopolitical reorganization. How do you see that?
Mm, well, as far as I know, there is something like an agreement between Russia and United States. And that's why sometimes Americans were saying like, oh, you can't use these weapons on Russian territories, or something like that. Even when Ukraine was doing diversions on Russian territory, um, like we were using American rifles, and Americans were like, you can't use our weapons on their territories. It was like that. So yeah, they have something like secret agreements, or something like that. Like as far as I know, and like as I think, and it's probably the American president is well, he's not under control, but he listens what to do from, I forgot like the English name of their bureau of hold on, let me translate. I'm sorry.
We're we're broadcasting live, Max. Don't do this. No, it's a joke. Go ahead. Go ahead. I remember when we were.
CIA.
Ah,
CIA.
CIA, the intelligence
Yeah.
agency.
Yeah.
Should have
Yeah.
asked me. You should have asked me before.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What is the CIA? What does the CIA has to do with this?
Well, I can't know. I only know that there, like some reasons why American president like keep the support of Ukraine short,
Uh,
or used to this. It's super complicated.
yeah. Do you think sometimes that it can this war can extend many years, like 10 years or something like this, and become
Well,
sort of Cold War with, you know,
well, it's not a Cold War because people are dying, like it's a constant
No,
war.
not yet, not yet, of course. But do you think it can become sort of Cold War over the time? Like the war is not going to end, like this is the winner, this is the loser, but instead it will going to lose energy little by little and becoming something like a Cold War, like,
You mean like like
what
Israel?
let me put it like this. What is the future? How you see the future to this conflict? Do you see it's going to end soon or it's going to extend longer?
Well, it depends on the whole world because now um countries are, they're doing like they're not shorten, like they're decreasing amounts of weapons for Ukraine, so it really depends. If we will get enough of support with warplanes, long-range missiles, then Ukraine is able to win pretty soon. But we need the right amount of weapons. That's it. But like if other countries, European countries and USA, first of all, well, if they will keep decreasing the amount of support, then it could be much longer.
Mhm. Recently, there were some stress in the relations between Poland and Ukraine as well. And some people said, some analysts say that there could be probably a possibility that some parts of some Poland, some Polish politicians, some part of Poland would like to maybe try to get part of Ukraine or divide it with Russia. Do you think it's possible? It's what do you think about this?
Well, something like that happened in the past, like 300 years before, when Poland and Russia they just divided Ukraine by the Dnieper River, and like both of them they took like two parts. But now it's not the same as 300 years before, and now Poland is one of the best allies for Ukraine. So it sounds more like a joke for me. And it's also like Poland is a like member of European Union. Could you imagine like some country in European Union trying to like get more territories from another country? It's just like not the way how Europe works.
Totally, but as far as I know, the European project is not working at all. By the way, Great Britain already exited. So many countries would like to do as well. There are many political parties that would like to exit Europe since they can't control immigration, they can't control, economy. They're like depending on each other. And some people say it's good to be alone. So maybe part of this project or such a project would be like being independent from European community as well.
Well, talking about this, actually, there are some projects of alternative alliance, and one of them is mm, Межморье. Like, have you ever heard about this one?
No, what's this?
It's like a project of alliance of Ukraine, Poland, Baltic
Yeah,
countries,
I know. Yeah,
Great Britain,
like local
So,
NATO, let's say. Yeah, yeah.
well, yeah. So, anyways, even if we're talking about some alternatives to Europe, Poland and Ukraine are binded as a friends, anyways.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. And well, Europe has received like I think more than 2 million, as far as I understand, right? 2 million people from Ukraine as well. It's a lot of people live in Ukraine. What's the consequence that you can see? It's not good that so many young people from your country leave the country because I know that old people don't want to leave. But what is the consequence geopolitically and well, the impact geographically speaking, of so many people leaving the country? Probably they're not returning anymore because once they set their lives, they become members of the European community, they going to marry, life goes on, and well, probably most of these people will never return. What can happen to Ukraine after that? What do you think? Like, is population leaving?
If talking about demographics,
Yeah,
like
demography.
even
Yeah.
even before war started, we had like a huge problems with the demographic, because like after Soviet Union got broken, etc. There were like still some problems in country, so some people were leaving, and it's like we had 52 millions of population by 1991, and only about 42 million, 42, 43 millions when war started. So it's like minus 10 millions for 30 years.
Hmm.
And now, yeah, when more people left Ukraine, and it's like I was traveling a lot and I met a lot of people even who live out of country, out of Ukraine, somewhere else, or for long years, like for 8 or 10. And many of them, they were speaking about like going back to Ukraine, doing something there, about like their about them visiting country, visiting Ukraine, like seeing how it changed, talking to people. And they said like it anyways feels like home and they would be glad to return. But I feel like we can return a lot of Ukrainians from the whole world. People who left when this like full scale war started, or people who left like earlier, but
Now,
then Ukrainian government.
young people with a German residency earning 2,000 euros per month probably are not going to go back to a destroyed country after the war, like for
Oh,
earning
it depends on them.
probably not, Max. Young people probably wouldn't leave back. They have their girlfriends, their lives, their rents. I mean, life, because I myself left Russia during the war, and well, I don't think that if it takes a lot of time that I would like to return, because like we have to restart life somehow. We have to go ahead and rebuild it. And when you rebuild, you don't want to destroy it again. That's
But
why
well,
graphics would
what I mean,
be very affected. No, I think demographic would be affected probably in Ukraine, like young people out, and
it
maybe,
would be affected.
yeah. Anyways, it's
But
like,
like what I mean, that Ukraine can return like not all of people, but like a lot of Ukrainians, if the government will do like the right actions, if people will get more freedom, that kind of stuff. It's just like about being more liberal, like classic liberal. That
what,
is it.
what do you mean liberal?
Well, I mean, when government is taking less control, like more free market, and such like
Political.
just doing the right conditions, so country can develop, so country can grow and rise, and then Ukraine would be a great place to invest.
There are like, because I remember in the Maidan, I was living in Paris by that time, but I was like precisely traveling. I was living between Paris and Moscow already, but more in Paris. But I had the opportunity to be in Kyiv, and I remember that moment. And the big thing was like Ukrainians were like, some people considered that they were like Russians, not Russians like Russia, but like a Russian civilization, like Slavics, like Russian phones, etc. And some other people considered that they were like more Europeans, like Western Europe, for example, like or European oriented, culturally speaking. I'm speaking culturally, not politically. And of course, after this war, there would be a lot of resistance for the Russian side of culture. But what is exactly, according to you, the identity of Ukrainians? Are you more this Russian family, like including Ukraine, Poland, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Belarus, and etc., or you're more like Europeans, like more closer to Germans, Polish, Poland, Hungarians, etc. What is exactly the identity of Ukrainians, according to you, as an Ukrainian, by the way?
So, well, like you mentioned Poland as a European family, and like Polish people, Polish culture is one of the closest to Ukrainian, and they are like still Slavic. You said like
I
that,
mentioned Pol. I mentioned Pol. If you observed, I mentioned Poland two times when I spoke about the other side and when I spoke about European side.
well, yeah,
Precisely because Poland is a country that has been always attacked as well by Germans, by Russians. They always like be in the middle of the historically, like so. It's like it's confused identity
like
as well.
a lot of Slavic countries such as Croatia, Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Czechia, Poland, they're like, on the west from Ukraine, and many of them are in European Union. And it's like, only Belarus is not in European Union, but it's a Slavic country, and Russia. And what I mean is that Ukraine is Ukraine. It's like we're not like Russia, but we're not like, Western Europe, because Eastern Europe itself, like Slavic countries, they're very different from the Western Europe. But you can say that Ukraine is in this like family of Slavic countries of Poland, Czechia, that countries.
Hmm. And yeah, yeah, and well, some people don't know that. Well, Putin took advantage of a debility, a faiblesse, a weak point that existed inside of Ukraine, because it's true that there are like there were forces inside of the country that wanted to be independent. Independentism existed like in many countries in Europe, for example, like in Catalonia, like the ex-IRA in Ireland, for example, like it exists in everywhere, for example, but it existed in Ukraine, right? And do you think that this is one of the reasons that Putin took advantage to invade Ukraine because of this internal lack of control that existed before, especially in Donbass and in Donetsk, sorry, and Donetsk and Lugansk.
Well, historically, there were some Russians on the eastern Ukraine because during the Soviet Union, a huge famines happened on the east. Not only on the east, but it affected mostly the east. And then the Soviet government was just like artificially resettling some Russian people to these territories. But still, I have a lot of friends from Donbas region, from Donetsk, Luhansk. Um, and yeah, there were some people who were more like pro-Russian, but it was a big minority. Like it's just like as I know from my friends who are from there, and like they existed, these pro-Russian people, but they were supported by Russian government,
Yeah,
all
that's
of
for sure.
this
That's for sure. That's why I said they
was
took it.
supported by it was
Took
supported
advantage.
by Russian government, all of these things,
But if but let's be honest. Let's be honest. If I support you to go against you're not going to accept if you're Ukrainian. I mean, of course, that's why I said myself, Russia took advantage of this lack of identity. But if you feel Ukrainian, you don't accept such a thing, you know, because it's true that
Oh,
it said that Russian supported financially some people, gave some money and nationality, passports, etc. A lot of like advantages to persuade them, right?
that's like it's a it's a it's a question of money as well, But with no Russian influence, those regions would never get destabilized, And it's like it was quite hard because they just invaded. In 2014, Russians just invaded Ukraine, so
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was hard.
yeah, yeah,
After long preparations.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. I want to say to share something with the public that Max and I we are good friends, and I have a very beautiful story with you, Max. That just a few months before the war started, we were celebrating together the anniversary of Ukrainian independence in front of the the Maidan Square, the most important place in Kyiv. And well, I was like a little bit exhausted by the extreme nationalism of Max, Ukrainian, this and that, and the flag, and well, don't speak Russian here, etc. And finally, we spoke to friends of mine in Moscow about, and I said, Max, it's too exaggerated. Russia is Russia, Ukraine is Ukraine, and there is place for everybody. But well, by that time, I feel like no, like I understand you so much because you were trying to tell me that the danger existed. It seems like you could see that war coming already, right? You didn't trust Russians at all, and well, and I was absolutely not understanding your reaction, your nationalistic reactions about everything. You carrying the flags and all types of flags, um, and well, now I understand. Did you feel before the invasion? Did you feel that it could happen? Were you afraid of that? Did you have that information or that feeling before?
Well, I had no information, but it's just like mm, I haven't had any feelings like the invasion is impossible. I just like thought that
Nobody
it is
believed that.
possible.
Nobody believed that could be possible in such a days that we live in. Like
But like we were at war since 2014, Before 2014, nobody believed that Russia can really attack Ukraine, that Russia can take Crimea.
they did, in fact, in Crimea, and I think the world did not pay attention to Crimea.
Yeah, that's it. If in 2014 United States pay enough of attention to what happened, we would never face this big war. But they were just trying to feed Russia. They were trying to like make it calm with giving it like something. But now it's like we have China, right? And China is a threat for the Western world. And it would be the same if China would like to militarily take over Taiwan, and the world would just like let China take over Taiwan, hoping that China will like just calm down after that, and not doing more aggressions or something. But these authoritarian regimes, they will never calm down. They will never stop. Somebody needs to stop them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Max. Thank you so much for sharing these little words with us. Very important for us because we're Ukrainian. Well, we were the first person that brought me this idea of sovereignty in Ukrainian. I used to go to Ukraine so many times, and I always spoke in Russian. You're the first time who told me, though, this is a country that we speak in Ukrainian, and well, thanks for sharing, and well, we wish all the best for your country, for your people. Although I know you're a cosmopolitan person as myself as well, but well, you have a lot of love for your country as I have as well for my country. So thanks a lot, and well, I hope someday we can meet again in the streets of Kyiv as we used to do before and have good time and celebrate. And well, this war will soon finish.
Hopefully.
Thanks a lot.
You too, Jan.